On Focal Point. It may not start at midnight like it used to, but fans are still lined up outside to see the first look at the MSU basketball teams. Ever been to the caf with too much food on your plate? You're not alone. A story today on how much food MSU wastes. You'll be shocked.
MSU PD has impounded at least 140 birds, which leaves us wondering if this new kind of bird is on its way to extinction. We've got more for you on where you can legally park them.
Focal Point starts now.
Hello and welcome to Focal Point. I'm Samantha Bassarico.
And I'm Tatiana Hemphill. When it comes to politics, young people tend to have less participation.
But the result might be different in the November 6th midterm elections. Meridian Township Clerk talks about why more young people plan to vote this year. Midterm elections historically have lower voter turnout than presidential election years, but this November 6th might be different. Polls show this upcoming election is expected to have one of the highest voter turnouts from young adults in decades. There are several reasons, everything from the social media reach to celebrity endorsements to feeling more empowered than they did in the 2016 election.
Young people felt disenfranchised. Whether other people agree with that perception or not, young people were very dissatisfied with the choices presented to them in the November 2016 election.
Meridian Township Clerk Brett Dreyfus reminds all voters they can decide an election, all they have to do is vote.
Democratic congressional candidate Gretchen Driscoll made a campaign stop on campus this week. Driscoll is running against Michigan current Congressman Tim Walberg in the 7th District. He's been in office since 2011. Tuesday's meet and greet with students was small and personal, which allowed plenty of time for questions. MSU isn't in the 7th District, but Driscoll said meeting college students and finding out what they care about is an important part of her campaign.
Well, I think it's really important for people to understand what the issues are, what we're learning here. We're all learning together. That's how you have a stronger democracy. I've always really felt strongly about the more informed your democracy is, the better things go.
The MSU College Democrats put on the event and are planning more campus events leading up to the election. Tonight they are hosting a gubernatorial debate watch party at 6:45 at 231 Center Street in East Lansing.
On the first Sunday of October every year, thousands of individuals throughout the U.S. support millions of babies that are aborted each year. Participants of the Life Chain movement held a moment of prayer to honor the millions of unborn children that are aborted every year. This year they were on Grand River and Hagedorn holding up signs to show how adoption is an underused option as an alternative to abortion. A member of the movement explains that a classroom of children is aborted every day.
A whole elementary school of children are aborted every single week in the state of Michigan. Multiply that across the whole country, we think that's something that has to change.
Life Chain is a national organization. MSU has an active small student chapter.
Hurricane Michael hit the Florida Panhandle Wednesday afternoon as the worst storm to strike that area in a century. It hit a Category 4 storm with winds as high as 155 miles per hour, 1 mile per hour away from Category 5, and then was downgraded to a tropical storm by the time it reached the Carolinas. Flooding was reported Thursday morning in the western part of North Carolina. As of Thursday afternoon, over 900,000 homes and businesses in the South were without power. At last check, the storm was to blame for at least 11 deaths, and including an 11-year-old girl in Georgia. Closer to home, you won't be seeing a little Red Cedar Arena anymore. Red seats, that is. All 18,000 red seats are being replaced with black ones. On television, if the arena isn't filled, the red seats stand out more than black. The seat swap will begin December, and we will be performing during the Monday events. In the meantime, the lower bowl seats will be dressed with black covers.
With 9 dining halls open every day to over 50,000 students on campus, how much food is being wasted?
That answer might shock you. That and more after the break.
Welcome back. Bird scooters are still flying around on campus, but the flock is thinning out every day. Focal Point's Deja Green joined us now from the Spartan Newsroom with more. Deja?
Yes, Samantha, we're not seeing as many birds on campus. Captain Doug Monette from Michigan State Police Department explains why.
Fun, easy, and everything.
Antoine Taylor loves the bird scooters.
This is like a gift for like MSU students.
But as convenient as they may be, students say there are a lot less birds flying around campus.
Yeah.
And they're getting hard to find. That's because MSU Police has impounded at least 140.
We are responding just like we would any other type of motor vehicle.
Motor vehicles can't be driven on the sidewalk. That's a misdemeanor.
There has been situations where officers have talked with people and educated people as well as taken enforcement.
And they can't use the bike lanes either.
The bike lanes, per university ordinance, are for bikes, not motorized vehicles. And that's a safety concern, and that's why they need to be in the roadway.
And parking is also a concern. MSU PD say these motorized scooters can only be parked here if they have a moped parking permit. And that's up to the owners, which is Bird. From an emailed statement, a Bird representative said the MSU community has embraced our last mile solution as a way to more easily get around campus, and as birds are impounded on campus, we will engage with the university officials to investigate each incident and take necessary action.
I can't wait to go to class so I can just ride a bird.
Scooters like this are popular because they're cheap, usually about 15 cents a minute, they're easy to use, and take only an app to find and use one. East Lansing is taking more of a wait-and-see approach to the scooters.
We're still trying to figure it out. We didn't get any notice, as I'm sure you know. Bird dropped their scooters without telling us, and so we found out at the same time as everybody else.
And so far, it seems everyone is enjoying them.
We've had people of all ages email us and say, you know, these things are great. I'm looking forward to using them. Leave them alone, and we're totally open to that.
But the city's first priority is safety.
But if you're in a wheelchair or if you're visually impaired, then having an obstacle in the middle of the sidewalk is a problem.
And if they were to disappear altogether?
I'll be a child that just get all his toys like taken away on Christmas.
While birds are still getting impounded, a competitor has arrived. Lime scooters are now spread out around the area, giving students more options to get to class.
Ever wonder how much food is being wasted in MSU's dining halls? You just might be surprised.
Also, your name could get you a free coffee at an on-campus Starbucks. Kayla Hinton has those stories and more in our on-campus report.
Tatiana, Samantha, it's time to eat. You go to one of the 9 campus dining halls, but are you paying attention to how much plates you're putting on that tray or what you're leaving behind when you're done?
Here at Case Hall, it's a little bit busier.
It's dinner time at Case Hall on the Michigan State University campus.
I had the honey chicken with rice and Brussels sprouts, mozzarella sticks, and cantaloupe.
I'll weigh it, and we'll put it back here.
But Elizabeth Little doesn't care what's on the menu. Today, she wants to know what's on the plates after dinner.
So today is about Clean Plates at State. It's a food waste awareness program.
In one semester here, over the 9 campus dining halls, 500,000 pounds of food waste piles up.
It's about the same as filling the Breslin court, just the basketball court, about 3 feet high, full of food waste.
Not all students try to waste food.
Make sure I pick out foods I like and that I know I will finish.
But having so much to choose from can be overwhelming.
I'm a victim of that sometimes because I try stuff that I think I'll like and then I don't, so I don't eat it.
One tip Elizabeth wants us all to know is to pass on the tray and grab a plate.
I hope they look at this and go, all right, wow, that's a lot of food waste, or at least ask what are they doing.
Elizabeth and her volunteer crew weighed leftovers for 2 hours nonstop.
More asparagus, Brussels sprouts, and some potatoes or something.
And when the occasional clean plate arrived, they made sure everyone knew it.
Clean plate, all right, thank you. We roll it again next Wednesday.
You can learn more about reducing your food waste at eatatstate.msu.edu. A new promotion starts at the Starbucks across campus, and you might wind up with a free coffee. That's right, Starbucks is now giving away free coffee just because of your first name. If you see your name written across the chalkboard, you'll get any drink you want for free. This is only taking place at the 3 Starbucks locations on campus. And don't be too worried if you have a unique name. It comes through an MSU database to randomly choose. Just come to the store and see if your name is on the board that day.
So all the staff, students, and faculty is all included, so it's not like you pick the most basic names. Like you'll find a name that you might be the only person that has that name, but yours could be on the board that day.
Thousands lined the street of East Lansing last week for the annual homecoming parade. It featured more than 130 entries, including the Spartan Marching Band, the MSU Alumni Band, student organizations, athletic teams, dance teams, Greek life, and much, much more.
Because we're Spartans, we can't miss a homecoming parade, and the kids happen to love it.
I liked the hot air balloon float. That was really cool with all the little kids on the teeter-totters.
Oh, they love getting all the candy and all the Michigan State stuff handed out to them.
Everyone seemed to enjoy the festivities despite the loss to Northwestern over the weekend. We'll have more on the game coming up in sports. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Kayla Hinton.
Halloween is just around the corner, and we've got some thrillers to help you get in the spirit. Focal Point's entertainment producer Tiara Riddick has a preview in this week's Movie Minute.
It's starting to look like Halloween around here.
Ever been a fan of the Goosebumps book series as a kid? Well, you're in luck because the movie Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween opens this Friday. Based on R.L. Stein's 400 million selling series of books, the film brings Halloween to life in this new comedy adventure. The story tells the tale of 2 young friends, Sunny and Sam, who meet Slappy, a ventriloquist, mischievous talking dummy.
Did you miss me?
Watch as these 2 not only bring Slappy, but all of his ghoulish friends to life from an unpublished Goosebumps book. The adventure comedy is rated PG for parental guidance.
You watch me? I only watch who they tell me to watch. Who's they?
Another mischievous film coming to the big screen today is Bad Times at the El Royale, starring Dakota Johnson, Chris Hemsworth, and John Hamm.
The El Royale. No place for a priest.
The film follows 7 strangers, each with a secret to bury, who meet at Lake Tahoe's El Royale, a rundown hotel with a dark past. Over the course of one night, everyone will have one last chance at redemption before everything takes a turn for the worst. This film is rated R. That's your Focal Point Movie Minute this week. I'm Tiara Riddick.
The sequel to the Phantom of the Opera, Love Never Dies, opened last night at the Wharton Center. Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical follows the Phantom 10 years after his disappearance from the Paris Opera House, where he has escaped to a new life in New York. He lives on Coney Island among the freak shows and jury rides. But he's missing one thing, the love of his life, Christina Day. The dazzling production is filled with thrills, excitement, obsession, and romance. We sat down with the Phantom himself, Bronson Norris Murphy, and Karen Mason, who plays Madame Gary at the Wharton Center.
To me, it's like, I've always said, it's like a great Avon paperback to music. It's got heart, it's got passion, it's got great performers. This cast is mind-blowing.
It's one magic moment when all those lights come on, there's the chord of the Coney Island Waltz hits that just makes you fly out of your seat. And I'm not on stage for it, but I hear it in my dressing room, and every night I get cold chills when that part starts.
You can get your tickets for Love Never Dies at whartoncenter.com. The show will be here all the way through the 14th. Fall sports are in full swing,
but the winter season is closing in.
Andrew Burkle shares the latest in sports from the Spartan Newsroom.
That's right. It was a rough week for Michigan State football last weekend, so maybe it's a good thing basketball season is picking up. I'll have those stories and more coming up next in sports.
Students are crucial to WKAR's success. It's a great opportunity for the students to learn, and it's a great chance for us to teach students so that they're ready to go out into the real world. Students are the heartbeat of WKAR.
Backstage Pass has given me hands-on experience working with a team and working with the equipment.
Going to class, you learn all this stuff, but then being able to apply it while you're a student as well is really fantastic.
It's been awesome seeing a project go from just emails to a full production day where we have bands coming in. It's been awesome to see that bigger picture come to life.
I'm always excited when I get to work on live productions, especially Backstage Pass.
having this knowledge at my disposal while I'm in college is really beneficial to what I want to do after I graduate.
It's extremely important to have students because it helps with the success of WKR and public broadcast as a whole. The opportunities are endless for students here.
Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm Andrew Burkle. Michigan State football bounced back from a tough Week 2 loss at Arizona State with back-to-back wins against Indiana and Central Michigan. But the Spartans still had a ton of question marks heading into the month of October. And they kicked off the month with Northwestern this past Saturday. It was the homecoming game for Michigan State, and Spartans Chris Fry and Donovan Clark were back on the sidelines celebrating in Spartan Stadium. MSU struggled on offense in the first half, but got it going here. In the third quarter, Felton Davis takes the handoff on the reverse. He's got room, and he's going to take it all the way to make it 14-12 Michigan State. Then on their next drive, they go back to Davis, this time through the air. He makes this unbelievable catch on the fade route. That puts up Michigan State 19-14. But Northwestern would respond, and unsportsmanlike conduct from Michigan State extends the Wildcats' drive. Clayton Thorson makes the throw to Cameron Green. That score would put up the Wildcats 22-19. Northwestern comes into Spartan Stadium and beats Michigan State 29-19. Focal Point's Michael Epps has more from Spartan Stadium.
After a brutal first half, Michigan State came out of halftime with energy. They were explosive, but all it takes is one small mistake to let that all crumble away.
When you lose a football game, you look back at 3, 4, 5 plays that are difference makers and game changers. The critical ones at the end of a victory, you look back and say you got the critical ones accomplished, and when you lose, you look back and say we didn't get it done in the critical moments.
We're a good group of guys, got good chemistry. We've been harping on that all year, but you got to go get results on the field, on Saturdays, and we understand that. And we got a tough task ahead, and we're going to prepare with everything we got.
And the road doesn't get any easier for Michigan State. They travel to Penn State next week and then host Michigan the week after. From Spartan Stadium, I'm Michael Epps.
Because of the loss, MSU found themselves outside of the top 25 this week. And with the tough game at Happy Valley coming up tomorrow, the Spartans know they have to step it up.
Focused on, Penn State, 3-2 or whatever our record is. At this point, it is what it is. I don't really necessarily think it matters as long as we can put ourselves in a position to be 1-0 this week versus a tough opponent. I feel like that's the position I'm taking. It's we're in this position now. What are we going to do about it?
Kickoff for tomorrow night's game is set for 3:30. Follow at Focal Point News or Focal Point MSU on Twitter and Instagram to see Michael Epps' post-game report from Happy Valley. MSU basketball is back, and so is Michigan State Madness. This year, the men's and women's teams are celebrating 40 years since the 1979 championship. Focal Point Samantha Bassarico shows us the magic from the Breslin.
Tom Izzo is known for being a magician in March, but not usually October. Magic mixed with madness at the Breslin Center.
MSU Madness, you gotta love this, right? Right?
It's been 40 years since Magic Johnson and the team won the 1979 national championship. Right here behind me is that trophy, and this year's Michigan State Madness was dedicated to just that.
The team paid tribute by wearing jerseys from that year. To add to the magic in the air, head basketball coaches made captivating entrances. And while the crowd waited for the real Magic Johnson to show up, he did, at least by video screen.
Let's have an incredible basketball season from the Magic Man to all fellow Spartans all over the world. I'm going to say go green, you say go white. Go green! Go green! Have a good one.
In East Lansing, Samantha Bassarico, Focal Point News.
The men's team also received their Big Ten championship rings after winning the regular season title last year. That team finished 16-2 in conference play and will look to defend their title in an expanded 20-game Big Ten schedule this year. The men opened their season November 6th against Kansas at the Champions Classic. The women will host Bowling Green to tip off the season the same day. Over to the rink. The puck has dropped for MSU hockey. The Spartan hockey team took the ice Sunday in their only exhibition game as they battled the University of Windsor. The Spartans beat the Lancers 3-1 with goals from Mitchell Lewandowski, Patrick Kodorenko, and Cody Milan. The program is starting to gain some momentum this season after a 12-22-2 record last year.
You want a good test and you want a lot of different situations. I thought we were able to get that tonight. We were able to get every guy in, all 25 skaters. It served a lot of purposes, power play, penalty kill. Both goalies looked good, and we did some things, and now we've got some good film and some good teaching points for ourselves getting ready for Northern.
The real season gets underway this weekend against Northern Michigan. The first of 2 games will be on Friday at Munn Ice Arena with admission free for students. The face-off is set for 7 p.m. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Andrew Burkle.
Graduating from college is a journey in itself. MSU alum shares the story of his journey.
I just believe this was like really God's plan.
David Yuhan is a man with big dreams that started when he was a boy.
The influence that I got the most was from my mom's dad, grandpa.
David was born in America but spent majority of his childhood in Indonesia. When he returned, his family created a life in Okemos, Michigan.
I'm so happy that we are here.
Making friends was a little hard too, but as soon as we played ball together, I think we just we just connected.
And in addition to playing ball, David loved a good meal.
And some things that we missed was like our friends, you know, and once again the food.
The food. David turned his passion into a living.
I am very proud of him, and he's the one that can explain to you more details.
He can explain it in one word: toast.
We came out with this very unique food.
It's not your average toast that you just pop in the oven and throw some butter on. His creation is called honey toast, made from scratch, topped with fresh fruit and ice cream. A new dessert, and it's popular.
And it was really, really good. So then we came actually back the next day.
David's recipe is simple.
Fresh, simple ingredients, and made from scratch.
His recipe for life hasn't been that easy, but now he thinks it's pretty sweet.
You know, it has been a learning process, you know, for me to say the least.
Toast is spelled Toaste and is located near the corner of Grand River on Hagedorn in the Brooklyn Field Plaza.
That's all for this week's Focal Point. I'm Samantha Basarico.
And I'm Tatiana Hemphill. We now leave you with the sounds from the MSU Orchestra's performance Thursday night. See you next week.